Welcome to the LL Spring Sports Roundtable, brought to you by Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health, Sports Medicine. My name is Mike Gross. Seated to my left is John Walk. Seated to my right is Jeff Reinhardt. We cover high school sports for LNP, LancasterOnline.com. And this is our final edition for this school year. So we're going to talk about some very big games that have taken place in the last couple days. We're also going to kind of sum up a little bit and maybe a rendition of Old Lang Syne at the end.
That'd be fun.
Maybe.
Not?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, we want to start with John because there was a state championship game in one of the sports that John's covered. So he's going to talk about that a little bit. And take it away, big guy. Manheim Township playing for a state title in lacrosse.
Yeah, girls lacrosse out at Westchester East High School in Chester County for what was the fourth season in a row for the Manheim Township girls, playing in a state final. They're the District 3 champion. They went in playing the District 1 champion, Conestoga. And man, was Conestoga good. I previewed that story. They have at least five players going D1.
Wow.
I think 3 are seniors, and they proved it right away, jumping out to a 5-0 start. Manheim Township gets whistled for a penalty, goes man down for 2 minutes, and Conestoga takes advantage. Boom, boom, boom. They're up 8-1, and essentially the game's pretty much over from there.
It's about 15-7.
15-7 is your final score.
Wow.
Conestoga, second state crown, first since 2016. What was their third state final appearance? Township again, 4 years in a row getting there, 4 years in a row falling short. They do bring back a ton of talent, and word on the street is they have an incoming freshman that might be one of the best in program history.
A Township does.
Yeah, and I don't want to put that tag on her just yet.
Why
so,
not?
Yeah, the future's bright, essentially, for Township to keep things going.
Was Conestoga better than you thought? Because we talked about this and you thought Township, I mean, not to.
It's weird because it's like, it felt like LS boys in the state semifinals where the opponent that they played gets off to a hot start, and then after 10 minutes the game's even. And it was the same thing with the Township girls. They're down 8-1, and from there it's a 7-6 game essentially, where, you know, if you look at the numbers, Township and Conestoga were even in pretty much all the categories as far as draw control, shots, saves, turnovers, what have you, ground balls. So, you know, on paper they're pretty much even, but it's that hot start by Conestoga.
Is it a mental thing? I mean, didn't the Bills go to like 3 Super Bowls in a row or something for?
Well, yeah, but that's I would
the
argue
same.
that's a little different.
Not the same, obviously.
No, I don't think it is.
Mental
No,
block?
it's just a matter of having enough D1 caliber players. They took away Township's leading scorer and held her off the board all day because she was defended by a kid who's going to
Really
Temple,
good.
essentially. And, you know, you take that away, okay, who's the next, you know, top flight player who can step up? And, you know, if you're not doing that all year, how do you kind of adjust? But I think they'll be all right.
You would think in 4 cracks, like one of those days, they would just.
Yeah, and it's funny because Conestoga,
Yeah, you would. That's true.
Conestoga beat all District 1 teams coming into that game in the first 3 rounds of states, but the Township played all those same teams in the regular season and beat them by similar margins. So it's like, okay, strength of schedule. Yeah, 2 losses.
2 losses.
Yeah.
State final and
Hempfield.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep returning there, essentially, is if they win the district title and then you're in that bottom half of the bracket against the District 12s and District 7s of the world, and then you get to the state final and you play the best team out of District 1, you're going to get a tough matchup no matter what.
One of these years.
All right, well, there you have it. Came close, not quite. And other than that, the big story, the ongoing big story is baseball in the Lancaster Lebanon League. We have 2 teams playing for state championships.
How about that?
Over the next couple of days. On Thursday, Warwick will play for the state title against Bethlehem Liberty at Penn State University. I covered the semifinal last night in which they hammered Cumberland Valley 9-0. I don't know that I've ever seen a more impressive looking performance by a high school baseball team. I mean, the only thing they didn't have is the kid throwing 95 miles an hour. But Seth Adomnik threw a 1-hitter and hit a home run. So he did okay. And they have this kid named David Woodley, who is a shortstop, leadoff hitter, 3 for 4 last night. He is 10 for 12 in the state playoffs so far.
Not bad.
He's just a line drive machine right now. And they just have a lot of good baseball players. They were terrific defensively last night. And boy, can they hit. Their coach, Bill Weismandel, said he thinks it's the best offensive high school baseball team that he's ever seen.
Wow.
And we're at the point now where we have to look at this team as maybe one of the best in the league history, although you know, that story changes a little bit if they don't get it done on Thursday. They should have their number one pitcher, Mike Seibert, left-hander, who's been a beast for them all year, offensively and on the mound. They should have him ready to go. I mean, he should be rested and ready to go on Thursday, and that'll be an opportunity to win in their first state final in school history.
Wow.
So obviously it would be their first state championship. They were 23-2.
2 losses. Who beat them?
Ephrata.
Both times.
And no, Ephrata in the league playoffs. They didn't even make
win
the finals of the league playoffs.
About that.
And Emmaus at the beginning, which Emmaus lost to Bethlehem Liberty for the District 11 championship.
Wow. Just speak to. This seems like a magical run here. Just the way they're pulling some of these games out has really been crazy. Do you sense that with this crew? Like they're kind of destined to win this, maybe?
Yeah, going into this year, they had these 2 big kids, one a left-hander, one's Matt Williams and Matt Seibert. Well, they haven't had, Williams hasn't been available all year because of some kind of an shoulder or elbow issue with it. They wanted to shut him down as a pitcher for the whole year in preparation for playing in college. And look where they are without him as a pitcher. And the other thing is those 2 guys are they're the 3 and 4 hitters. They were walked a combined 6 times last night.
Wow.
Seibert hit it twice, hit it to the fence.
Oof.
One time he hit it to the fence, and Williams comes up next and hits the next pitch over the center field fence. It was they're pretty impressive. They're
finding ways.
Yeah. They've won a lot of close games, and they've, smacked the crap out of people too. They've been very good at that.
Good
now, we're downplaying Lancaster Catholic a little bit.
Wow.
Lancaster Catholic won a semifinal last night at Boyertown, 3-0 over Newman Goretti, who is a team that I think a lot of people thought was one of the best in the state. It's a legitimate team in that class, AAA. Noah Zimmerman continues to do it on the mound for this team. Junior left-hander, who throws 4 different pitches.
Funky.
Crafty. And every pitch he throws, his hat comes off his head.
I saw some pictures.
Yeah, every single pitch he throws, his hat comes off his head. He picks it up and puts it back on his head.
Is he crafty? He's a crafty lefty?
He's crafty.
He's crafty?
He's got the slider, the curve, the change, and the fastball.
Nice.
And they have been riding him pretty hard. I don't know if he can go on Friday. We'll see. Monday to Friday, I guess, yeah. And Levi Hackman had 3 hits, a guy who's really helped them down the stretch. They are playing Central from District 6, out around Martinsburg.
Yeah, Martinsburg.
Yeah. And they are 26-0.
Wow.
And they're a team that I've been hearing about. I mean, I don't know much about, obviously, I don't know anything about them except for their record, but that's going to be a formidable challenge. Lancaster Catholic going for their 2nd state title. They won it in 2018,
That's right.
and I think they got to the semis the following year, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, this is extraordinary baseball season, and we still have 2 teams playing baseball.
We probably shouldn't be surprised.
We probably shouldn't, considering that last week we had 5 teams still playing. Yeah. But anyway, another team that went to the state semifinals, yes. Donegal eliminated yesterday, and we put Rhines on the baseball beat. We sent him to Crescent, Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's
which I've been there, and it's not exactly Paris, folks.
It's far.
But anyway, Ryan, tell us
Mount
what you saw.
Mount Aloysius College, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Gas it up and pack snacks. That was a long day. Okay, Donegal in the state semifinals for the 3rd time. They were fun. Gritty team, Jeff Hartman, the skipper. They played Bethel Park, which is the defending state champ in 5A, and they did not throw their ace. They have a kid named Holwinski who's going to Kent State, pitched a 4-hit shutout in the quarterfinals. I guess he wasn't available.
If you remember last year, Redland had that team with all that Division I talent, and one of the kids went in the top 10 in the draft.
Yes, the outfielder.
They beat Redland last year in the state final.
Yes, they did, 4-2, and Bethel Park came out right away. Johnny Holmes started for Donegal, the right-hander. Bethel Park's up 5-0 before everybody sat down.
But that's partly because there was no place to sit.
Exactly. It's a funky complex there at Mount Aloysius, to say the least. Okay, but Donegal puts on the comeback chops. A.J. Small, big home run to left. losing 5-0, but they really hung in there. Hartman had to go to his bullpen several times, mix and match. They ended up pitching like 5 kids. A 4-run sixth to tie it.
Yeah.
Small hit the homer. Robertson had an RBI double. Coy Allman, the catcher, leadoff kid, freshman.
He's a very good player.
Very good
He's
player.
going to be terrific.
Oh,
Again, the catcher position.
Yeah.
That's been a specialty. That's been a specialty of our league this year.
and he hits leadoff.
Yeah.
And he's on base every time you look up. He had a 2-run double to tie it, 5-5. Feeling good. 5-5, going to the 7th, and Bethel Park goes single, 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 wild pitch, an error, and Hartman's going to the pen, and he had to bring in another pitcher. They scored 3 in the top of the 7th and win it 8-5. Bethel Park was very good. You could see why they were the state champs. They were good. But heck of a ride for Donegal. I thought all season long, that's the one local team of ours that kind of just slid under the radar.
They did. Yeah, they did. And, you know, they got mercy ruled a couple times.
Wow.
But they also, you know, they were in the same section with Manheim Central.
Yes.
They played 2 tough games with them, and you know how good they were.
Oh, yeah.
And they had enough pitching. They had enough depth in their pitching. And like you said, a tough bunch. They really had a good year.
Yeah, they were fun. And Jeff Hartman was very disappointed they lost, but he said, hey, we had 3-4 seniors on this team who just did not let these kids quit. Here we are. We got to the state semifinals, came this close. He said, my goodness. And A.J. Small told me after the game, he said, when we tied it, I thought we were going to win. He said, we had all the momentum. Didn't happen in the 7th.
Yeah, understandably. Yeah, you would think that.
Oh, sure. And the way they're going, they're just picking teams off. Great ride, Donegal. It's fun to be on the baseball beat for a day. Good stuff.
Now we're depending on the Rhines even more heavily than
boy.
usual here because we wanted to talk a little bit about softball. Softball just ended for our teams.
Yes.
Just a little bit short of the state final. Rhines.
Yes. Okay. 2 teams go to state quarterfinal games. First up, the LL champs, the District 3 champs, Penn Manor. What a great season the Comets ended up having. They ran into Spring Ford out of District 1. They're really good. The Rams only had like 1 loss going into that game. They are. Spring Ford's a heck of a program. Yeah. Everything. Football,
and
basketball.
Nice facilities.
Yes.
That's a good school.
Yes, it is.
Athletically speaking.
Yes, it is, Dustin. Spring Ford beats the Comets 11-4, and they kind of poured it on late. I think they had a grand slam in the late innings. So Penn Manor is out. They get to the state quarters. That game was at Mifflin. Comets end up 25-3. That's pretty good. Section champs, LL champs, district champs.
They probably were one of the best half-dozen teams in the state, regardless of class.
Sure.
Probably.
No, sure.
And they ran into maybe the best team in the state.
Might have, because Spring Ford is going to the state finals.
Or one of them.
Yeah, and the Rams are going to Penn State. So not a horrible loss, but Penn Manor season is over. 5A, got to see this. LS, reigning state champs, ran into Pittston. They were undefeated. They were a good bunch. They had that Gianna Adams pitcher, and I was impressed. She threw hard. She was very good. Scoreless game. That was at Patriots Park in Allentown. That's a cool little place. Quaint.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Quaint. Very cool. But anyway, LS gets up 2-0 in the 6th. Scratch out some run. They only had 1 hit. Yeah. But that's softball. You get a walk, you get one of those slappers, you get a butt, you get a fielder's choice, you get a sac fly. LS is up 2-0. Pittston cuts it to 2-1 in the 6th, but hey, Kiva Middleton, go out. Go get him in the 7th. Going back to the state semifinals. Didn't happen. Pittston comes up in their half of the 7th and got hit. And this Tori Para kid, and it's funny because that morning I kind of looked at their stats and I wrote down Tori Para, 545, 7 homers, 36 ribbies. And once you know it, she comes up in the last inning, bang, creams a double to right center. 2 kids come around and score, and Pittston walks it off to go to 23-0. They won their semifinals, so they're 24-0 and going to the state finals. So
yeah, that was almost like LS held off the inevitable for as long as they could.
Yeah, really.
And they get into the 7th inning with a lead, and that gets that team.
Yeah, more of a magical ride for LS this year. Not a hey, we're going to win this thing and we're getting the Penn State, get out of our way. But good for LS again. I mean, they go state quarters and with a youngish team.
The only remaining high school events this year are the state finals on Thursday and Friday in baseball. So we thought we would just take a couple minutes here to sort of sum up the year and how you're going to remember this school year in terms of all the teams and sports and people that we cover. John, what do you think?
Well, top of mind has to be the Lampeter Strasburg boys basketball team winning their first 28 games, easily the best season in program history. I think their first undefeated regular season since like the late 1950s. They win the league crown, only their second overall, first since like 2018, something like that. And then they win the District 3 5A crown, and then kind of run out of gas there in the first round of states. But seriously, 28-1 league, district titles, and first round of states. That has to be it for me.
Well,
and honestly, that's the answer for me too. They were such an interesting team in terms of the way they played. The fact that Ty Burton is a kid that we're going to be seeing for the next couple of years.
4 guys who could shoot 3-pointers.
And it's historically brilliant, shooting almost regardless of the level in terms of their ability to shoot the 3. And the way they lost even was interesting and shocking. I covered that game, and it was amazing.
We should give a shout out to the Columbia boys basketball team winning a district title for the first time since 1994.
No question. I mean, we had a lot of basketball was very good this year, but that's the team that I'm going to remember most. But I'm also going to have to throw this Warwick baseball team in there.
There you go.
And not only we talked at length about how good they are, but watching these guys, it reminds me a little bit. This is going to seem like a goofy comparison, but it reminds me a little bit of the McCaskey basketball teams with Jerry Johnson and Dustin Salisbury and Bobby Everhart.
Wow.
They're just basketball guys. It's in their DNA. These Warwick guys are just baseball guys. That's how it feels to me. I'm not even sure what I mean by that, but it's just a feeling.
I know what you mean.
And it's cool. I think they're fun to watch for that reason. That's a subtle thing, and again, it's not even, it's sort of vague in my mind, but that's how it feels. So that they might be one of the best teams in the baseball teams in the history of our league, and that covers some ground.
We've had some good, like the LS team with Bianchi that won states. That team was great.
And the one with Berger.
Yes.
I mean, those two came instantly to mind. They would be two of the ones that you would certainly throw in there. I'm not saying I'm ranking Warwick ahead of them, but I'm not sure I'm ranking them beyond them either. I mean, they're in the discussion. Yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, that's
anything from Ryan's.
Well, we could sit here and rattle off. Well, they won districts and they went to state. We could do that.
But we're not going
to. I think the thing that's just impressed me most with this school year are the kids and the athletes, and because this crew of seniors are the ones that had to go through COVID when they were younger. And again, I could rattle off, well, he broke that record and she broke that record. But this year, it just seemed like I paid closer attention to the kids and their accomplishments. And I found myself in awe so many times this school year, just impressed with how they go about their business, how they got through COVID, not that that's over, but just how they got through that.
That's a very real thing. That's a very real thing. This was the first year that I think it was a full normal school year, athletically speaking. But these kids who are seniors now, there's always going to be that asterisk in their high school career when they look back on it. So, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't think one thing stood out for me, to tell you the truth, but just the talent and the kids, and I'm going to go beyond that, the coaches, the ADs, the people behind the scenes. I found myself paying closer attention to those folks this school year for whatever reason, and continually impressed, jaw-dropping, just how everybody's gotten through this. Sorry if this is a boring answer and I'm rambling, but
no, I think you're on to something. I think you're talking about a real thing, and especially in the looming context of COVID, which looms over every aspect of human life.
Very impressed with the athletes here and the programs here and the coaches here. Just wow.
One last thing, if I may. The former Hempfield Athletic Director, Steve Polonis, pointed this out to me a couple years ago. Like, hey, if you had the staff for it and the resources, you guys should hand out a trophy on a school that is the most successful over an academic year across multiple sports. And I bring that up to say, if such a trophy existed, it would have to be probably Warwick and Lampeter Strasburg.
Yeah.
For this
Not
school
only
year?
this school year, but it seems like the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, every season, fall, winter, spring, they seem to have multiple teams playing deep in the postseason.
LS just has great programs. And I remember a year or two ago, we were kind of thinking, man, there was just a great wave of athletes coming through Warwick right now.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, now we're at the point where it's a little bit more than just a wave. I mean, maybe they're headed the same direction.
Yeah, they're still playing. And the league's going to change. It's going to change. We know what's going to happen in the fall.
Next we do this, we'll be talking about a much different environment in the marquee high school sport, which is football, because of the merger of Berks County. That's going to be a big, big story for us going forward.
37-team football league. Linden Hall girls coming in basketball.
Yes.
Girls lacrosse is going to 2 sections, and
Oh,
we'll see
really?
what happens there. Yeah,
Really?
So
Yeah,
it's
big
going to look
changes.
different coming up.
Big change. Just my final thought is great school year. Congrats everyone. It's not always about hoisting the gold at the end of the day, but just amazing accomplishments, and it's fun to
When's the first
see that.
football two-a-days?
Mid-August, August 28th is the openers, I think.
Yeah, August 28th. We're going to have
2
Media
months.
Day here in this building.
Yes.
August, what is that, August 5th?
Something like that.
Something like that. So two-a-days are probably the following week.
Probably.
Yeah.
Athletes of the year.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Athletes of the year.
Athletes of the year. We give a male and female athlete of the year every year. It was an interesting discussion and not an obvious call at all.
Big debate
this year.
Yes.
Rhines, tell us about it.
There was a lot of debate and a lot of emails and a lot of chit chat about where to go with this. Our male athlete of the year is Ryan Brubacher from Cocalico. Great kid, great family. Football is his A sport. I think we all know that. Went to the Big 33, All-State. Terrific lineman.
Going to South Carolina to
Going to
play
South Carolina.
offensive line in the SEC.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Just reported on Saturday, by the way.
Yes, he's down there now. God bless him. And then he swims in the winter. 6'6", 300, and he's swimming, and he made districts.
It's that, what a cliche, offensive lineman swimmer.
When I got
We've seen
to-
it so many times over the years.
When I got to do that story last winter, that's when he caught my attention. Like, this guy really is an athlete. He's not just a offensive tackle. And then in the spring, he does track and field, qualified for districts, throwing, disc, shot, all that stuff. So a lot of other worthy kids for sure, and it was tough, and we had a really good list. But Ryan Brubacher from Cocalico will be the LMP Male Athlete of the Year.
And for the female, we go to John Wall.
Brayton Peters, Anvil Cleona senior runner, field hockey player, figure skater.
Figure skater. Yes, she is.
In the fall, Brayton Peters, cross country. She handles both cross country and field hockey. Field hockey, I'll just give a quick shout out. I believe they were the section champs or sections runner up in LL Section 3 and made it to like district quarters, district semi, something like that in 1A or 2A. And then cross country is her bread and butter. League final, she's leading the league final, takes a wrong turn around a flag. Likely would have won it had that not happened. So she bounces back from that, goes on to win the District 3 1A crown, back-to-back District 3 1A champions, or championships for her, and she helps the Little Dutchman girls team win the District 3 1A team crown.
Yes.
They go and compete at states. I think Brayton was like 11th in the state 1A race. And then in the, spring, she won pair of district crowns. I forget what specific events, but there was
16 and 32.
Yeah. And I think the relay team did pretty well too, and then goes on to compete at states. And then you're putting that story together and learn, oh, by the way, she also figure skates.
Figure skater, like competitively. She kind of put it on the back burner for now because of cross and track. But yeah, so Sunday news this week.
She going next level?
Elon for track and cross country, D1.
Right.
So good for her. And Ryan, obviously, South Carolina. Grab a Sunday news this week. John and I are handling those stories, pictures, everything.
All right.
Take a look.
That's the school year, gang. It's been
Wow.
fun. And we'll talk to you again in a couple of months.
Wow.
But for now, this has been the LL Spring Sports Roundtable. For Mike Gross, for John Walk, for Jeff Reinhardt, and for Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health Sports Medicine.
Thank you.
See you later.